the new news in the NFL. The owner of the Miami Dolphins, Stephen Ross, found himself sticking his hand in the cookie jar. You know what I mean? He wasn't supposed to be doing something he was doing, and we're going to break it down here. So, what did Stephen Ross do, you might ask? Well, in the National Football League, among other things you cannot do, a team cannot, quote unquote, tamper, which basically is like, I pick up the phone, I say, I want player X from team Y, and player X from team Y is still under contract, right? But you pick up the phone, get in touch with an agent or get in touch with the player directly, and you say, hey, what would it take for you to come here next off season or whatever the case may be? That you can't do. That is tampering. You cannot talk to somebody who is under contract with another organization or club in this instance before their free agency time or before the team they are contracted with makes them available for acquisition, right, via trade, or they release them. You have to clear waivers, all that stuff. During Tom Brady's time in New England and with Tampa Bay, Stephen Ross was trying to acquire Tom Brady's services to play quarterback and semi-own the team, like part owner or whatever. It was weird. He was going to have different kind of roles, and that's why he retired and then he unretired this offseason. So it was all weird, and there was a plan behind the scenes. They had the wink wink, like, hey, I'm coming here, Stephen. Hey, Tom, we already gassed the jet up for you, so what you waiting for? So they did that in two separate occasions. This was part of the Brain Flores lawsuit, which is the back half of what Stephen Ross is also getting punished. I use that term very loosely. Punished for by the National Football League. So there's tampering, and then there's this other part, which is tanking, which, if you don't know what tanking is, it's purposely trying to lose games so that you can some way kind of benefit in a monetary way. In the NFL, the way that works will be, if I lose more games than let's say the Jacksonville Jaguars, I get the first overall pick in the draft. Simple process, right? Or whatever team was trash that year, if we lose more games than them, we get a higher draft pick. That gives you a better opportunity to get one of the elite players coming from the college ranks, right? So that whole system is something that already needs to be changed, which I talked about, the NFL draft and the changes that need to come with that. So go check that out. But after this video, of course. So I said to say the Miami Dolphins were in this process of tanking. And this is something that Brain Flores brought up in his lawsuit when he alleged that the owner, Stephen Ross, tried to, throw him a couple $100,000 for every game that he went ahead and let the team know you don't got to win this one. Okay. But this punishment of Stephen Ross comes at an interesting time, but it was the right move. Stephen Ross was fined $1.5 million and suspended for a couple of weeks, like 6 weeks of the season, right? He can't come back until October 17th, I believe. And the organization is stripped of a first round draft pick in 2023 and a fourth round pick in 2024, I believe that will be. Is that enough? Couple picks, especially a first round pick. I mean, that's a blow. Okay, cool. The suspension for a couple weeks. I mean, okay, he an owner. I mean, I'm probably not coming into the office that much. So, am I really hurt about that? I could fade a couple weeks. But the fine, 1.5. It seems a little slight when you talk about, Calvin Ridley, I think, is going to lose like 11. That's a steep number from a player who did gamble. And gambling in the NFL, they already have a written rule that if you gamble on games, this is how much you get in terms of suspension. So I mean, technically Calvin was playing with fire, but should they free my man off of this because of Stephen Ross, like, gambling with people's like livelihoods really was what he was doing? I mean, if he losing 11, I think we could probably slide a couple more M's to Stephen Ross' way. I mean, I believe he's worth $8 billion net worth, and most of that is from the team. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, still, maybe you take a little bit more change off of him. Maybe find him the team revenue. More of that got to come to the league. And we got to dimmy it up against 31 owners instead of, you. Maybe something like that could have happened. But I think it's definitely a slap on the wrist. No question about it. But he's an owner, right? He's an owner of an NFL team. And I've already told y'all, owners in NFL teams, owners in most of these leagues, it would take them knocking off somebody, like putting them in the dirt, for them to get their teams taken off of them. It's just that simple. I'm sorry, not sorry. It's like, should he get his team taken away from him? That's subjective. But should he not be at all allowed to come back, at least this season, suspended indefinitely? I mean, let's just take some things a little bit more serious as a league when you talk about the integrity of it, because we know that this is not integral, right? We know that this is not showing the fan, showing the media, showing the people, like myself who commentate, analyze the game, that y'all care anything about your integrity. Just care about these numbers, right? And if people still want to support and show that they're going to watch the games, that is the only thing that incentivizes the teams to do anything. Show that it was our fault, my bad, and the league really needs to make something happen. It needs to make things shake here, right or wrong, if you will. And the league is just too soft to do that as well, because it's in everyone's best interest in terms of the organization of the NFL to look out for each other. You got to sit down for a couple of weeks, bro. We got to make this look all right. But let's be honest, this is not going to work. This is not necessarily going to work. But I say that to say, yeah, I mean, I don't believe Stephen Ross really got at all what he should have gotten. I believe anything short of a year suspension, maybe out indefinitely, and then a lot more than a $1 million fine, 1.5, whatever. Taking away the draft picks from the team, I mean, that doesn't really help, or it doesn't really punish the person that should be punished. You know what I mean? Like, the Dolphins technically, in a way, really didn't do anything, so that's going to hurt like the team to be successful, right? Which is going to hurt the product. So you taking away the draft pick was more detrimental to the product being better than the actual perpetrator of these crimes, which is Stephen Ross, and I believe the co-owner too, his number two, his right hand. Y'all need to sit down. Y'all need to be fined. Y'all need to get things taken away from you. We don't need that. I'm trying, you got a first year coach. You got a quarterback trying to prove himself. A guy like Tyreek Hill just got traded to the team, need to prove himself. You got guys through free agency that you brought in. That don't help us. That don't help us, because the man with billions of dollars got to, take this little chump change fine, and he got to sit down for a couple weeks. Come on, bro. He probably got the TV package. He good. He gonna chill at the crib. Kick his feet back, watch the game. He'll be back in the office on Monday. That's what y'all doing. And it's just, like I said, it's weird, but I'm going to expose something else that really needs to be talked about, is that they did this on purpose. I just heard that they're planning on appealing the Deshaun Watson decision, right? And I broke down the Deshaun Watson situation. It's something else you can go watch. I'll put it in here. But, yeah, like, they pretty much used this time. And I knew as soon as that information came out that they was going to fine or suspend Stephen Ross, it was all a setup. It was a setup to be, okay, so we did punish an owner, because they read the decision by the judge, Sue Robinson, and they said, oh, okay, so if your main problem, I guess, is that we don't suspend our own, or owners get off with this, that, and the third, well, let's do this. Let's suspend Stephen Ross, right? Let's sit you down, Stephen. Sit down for a little bit. Mind you, he was also trying to get Deshaun Watson too. So how interesting would that have been if that actually played out? But let me mind you. So, Stephen, you sit down for a little bit, right? And let's go after Deshaun. because we know we're going to at least try to make the public, aka the media, who has been pushing this heavily, that he needs to sit down for longer. We're gonna go do that. And you sit down, you'll be back. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry about that. You'll be back. You'll be all right. But we need to sit you for a little bit, okay? And while we do that, sit you down, and then we're gonna go after Deshaun Watson, right? And like I said in that original video about Deshaun breaking it down, he put himself in this position, and whatever happens does happen, right? Should he fight it? Of course. But this is so sinister to use a situation that, one, is not about Deshaun Watson, right? To use this to end up saying that this is why we should go after him, because in your decision, Judge Robinson, you said we don't go after the owners. There's not been real precedents set about how we handle things like that internally within the National Football League. So we're going to suspend this guy and show that we're serious of everybody. And everybody has to hold up the integrity of the shield, right? It's all about the shield. Well, problem, you didn't really hold up the integrity of the shield with Stephen Ross. And again, an owner like Daniel Snyder, if you wanted to really show that you're taking situations of sexual assault, sexual harassment of women, right? These women issues seriously, why haven't you punished Daniel Snyder like you plan on trying to go after and want to punish so severely Deshaun Watson? So you use this exact moment, and I knew as soon as the news broke that Stephen Ross, this has everything to do with Deshaun. That's how sinister these leagues work, bro. That's business. We show y'all something over here, right? Get the public support and backing, like, oh, the NFL serious, bro. Did you see how long Stephen Ross has to sit down? Oh, they suspended him. Oh, they don't really do this with ownership. Oh, they getting serious. No, they're not. Look at the facts. A couple weeks. He missed preseason in like 2 games. Maybe 3. Come on, bro. They got 17 games. Plus, he makes money throughout the week. He's going to make money throughout the year. The whole season. They're not fining him no real money. 1.5? We just found out only because the Packers are publicly owned that they make like $200 million, bruh. And who knows what the numbers are now? Per team. That's 200 per team. There's 32 teams. You do the math. They're making billions, bruh. 1.5. And then they use this. That's my problem. It's like to use this moment to go after Deshaun. It's like, come on, bro. It's like, come on, bro. And they reap what they sow too. I'm not wishing nothing on nobody, especially when people put themselves in certain positions. I don't. But the league does need to be humbled, bro. And somebody got to do it. Somebody really got to humble this league, because there's absolutely no way you're telling me that these two situations were A, not related and how they were going to move, and B, just so well calculated that they knew they was going to make the one decision while they're making the other decision. That's like, come on, bro. That's low key sick. That's sick, bro. A good business move. I ain't gonna hold you on that. Nice move, but that's sick. Come on, bro. Come on, fam. We gotta tighten up. But yeah, that's my thoughts. This is Real Talk Sportz. We out.